That's that when it comes to the losing streak. It's over after 3 in a row. The Oilers get it done over the New Jersey Devils, doubling up the Devs 6-3 at the Prudential Center in Newark tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream postgame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube Trev with you. Matty Cassian is under the weather. Confirmed. He will regroup. We told him to rest up and be ready to go tomorrow. And Gager, who's done a lot of great work for us since our launch and was great today on the Hangout, as well as Two Guys and a Goalie. We'll continue that tonight right here on the postgame show. Let's bring in Joaquin Gage. Where is he? Where is that guy? There he is. Oh, hello, Gager. How are you, pal?
I'm coming in, Tommy.
You're coming in.
Timmy Trumpet. Coming in from the bullpen for Cass.
Yes.
So, yeah, it takes a while to get there. I didn't have it lined up.
Oh, man.
But, what a game.
That was something.
What a game. That was well needed, I think. I like the, yeah, we'll get to it. But I like the start, the bending, not breaking. And then, getting it, dropping the hammer. It was hammer time and putting it away in the third. Awesome. Yep. Awesome game.
Awesome. Okay, we will decipher this one. 6-3, the Oilers win it over the New Jersey Devils. As always, if you're watching on our EST YouTube channel, you can get at us on the Nasty Chat, and you can also talk amongst yourselves as one does via the Nasty Chat. And then if you're listening in your car or if you're listening on a device like an old school radio that has a Bluetooth feature, or if you're listening on your phone, on the TuneIn app, or via your television, whatever, hit us up at our inbox, 780-218-9999. Basically saying the world is your oyster when it comes to technology and how you can ingest this good stuff right into your veins, and that being Edmonton Sports Talk and the recently restocked 6 o'clocker lager. Second batch arrived a day early today at Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores. And I've been keeping track of all the tweets coming at our official EST channel, or our account, I should say, and mine on X. And these things are going like hotcakes, Gager. So a salute to all the nasties out there that have been gobbling this stuff up. I think there was Kevin. Kevin had his dog, Frank, who fetches him beers. Amazing. Cheers as we get set for another post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Let's get into a quick sip first. Mm-hmm.
What that whistle,
That's
Tommy?
Good beer. That's good beer. That's crushable beer right there. It just feels so right. So nice when it hits your lips. And let's get into the scoring summary and the box score from this one. In the first period, just 24 seconds in, a sign of things to come. Ryan McLeod scores his third goal of the year from Sam Gagner. 1-0 Oilers. Good to see McLeod get back onto the score sheet with a goal, his third. Nugent-Hopkins would score at 5:24. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins now with 8 goals on the season. That one coming from Matthias Ekholm and Conor McDavid. 2-0 Oilers. That was the end of Akira Schmid's night. Vitek Vanacek came in after that. He was pretty good for a period and a half. Dawson Mercer would cut the Oilers' lead in half at 13-14 of the first period. 2-1 at that point. Mercer's 8th from Mikey McLeod, brother of Ryan. We go to the second period now. Jonas Siegenthaler, his first goal of the season from Nemitz and McLeod. So Michael McLeod with a 2-point night at that stage of the game. Score tied up at 2. That was just a $1:39 into the second period. That was a seeing eye shot from the point from Siegenthaler. And then later in the period at 16:26, Timo Meier goes to the net. Kind of a broken play, I guess. Just crashes, goes to the right spot. Puck just plops down in the crease in front of him, and he bangs it home. His first point since returning from injury at the end of November. So Myers got 6. That one assisted by Dawson Mercer. 3-2 Devils going into the third. The Devils were pretty good when leading after 2 periods. You heard Jack Michaels talking about it heading into that third period. The Devils after 2 when leading 11-1-1 going into this game this season, make it 11-2-1 because the Oilers begin the comeback. Connor McDavid, his 12th of the season from Matthias Ekholm and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to make it 3-3. Just $1.40 into the third, and then shortly after that, Leon Draisaitl would get his 14th of the year on a terrible turnover by the Devils. Draisaitl with beautiful backhander. Work on your backhander, kids. It doesn't have to always be a forehand shot to make it 4-3. Nice to see him get a 5-on-5 goal. He had one yesterday or the other night as well. So he's got goals in back-to-back games. And then to really nail the coffin in the Devils game, it would be Adam Ernie, unexpectedly. His first goal of the season from Sam Gagner to make it 5-3. The Oilers with 3 goals in 69 seconds. Ryan McLeod for good measure, his second of the night, 4th of the season, unassisted as well, to make it 6-3. That goal coming at 9:04. So the McLeods had an enjoyable night. You saw mom and pop McLeod there, probably very happy for Ryan and sad for Mikey, but they'll get over it. No big deal. And the Oilers sweep the season series against the New Jersey Devils. Shots on goal, 38-26 in favor of Edmonton. Face-off percentage, 52.7 to 47.3 in favor of the Devils. The power play tonight goes 0 for 2 for the Oilers. The PK got the night off because the Oilers somehow did not take a penalty, so very disciplined tonight. Hits 22-13 in favor of New Jersey. Block shots 18 for New Jersey, 15 for Edmonton. The giveaways, I think this one's a bit of a telling stat officially. 14 for New Jersey, just 4 for the Oilers. Takeaways 12 for Edmonton to the Devils 8. 780-218-9999 is the number to text us, or you can reach us via the nasty chat as we break down this 6-3 Oilers win. Joaquin Gage as our game analyst tonight. Gager, what are your takeaways off the top from this Oilers victory?
Well, the first thing that runs through my mind, Tommy, is the even scoring throughout all the lines, right? Everyone contributes.
Good point.
The start was good, with like going up against a New Jersey team that's been struggling as of late, but probably looking for a little bit more redemption, Watching them, I think they really miss their big guy on defense with Dougie Hamilton. Although you heard Louis DeBrusque on the broadcast time, but there's a bright future on their back end, but it is young. And as people in Edmonton know, the growing pains with young defensemen. But it was a well managed game. You made reference to the staying out of the penalty box. That was one of the things that crossed my mind this afternoon with Brown out of the lineup. How is that going to affect the PK? Because that's where kind of he's been at his best so far this season. Obviously not on the scoreboard, but makes it real tough when the guy that you get replaced for goes in and not just scores a goal, Tom, but scores a real nice goal. A type of goal that I would like to see more players try to do. I know it was a 2-on-1, but he made a very big effort of taking that puck straight to the net, right? And if there was going to be a rebound, that would have created such chaos. As a goalie, a guy coming in with that much speed, it is not only do you have to get the right timing, but it's almost impossible to do anything with the rebound at that point, right? And you have another guy coming that you're worried about. We still, you critique a win to an extent, but I still think there's a lot of chances that the Oilers give up point blank where they can, if they were to get a shot on net, it would have been fine, Tommy, but sometimes they just have such glorious opportunities to get the puck in good scoring positions, and they got to take the safeties off at some point and get more indirect people to the net. It's not always the guy that's standing in front of the goalie too. It's in your peripheral as a goalie. Sometimes seeing traffic come to the net, it makes you aware of where you have to do something with that rebound too. Too many times I see a guy in the slot and two Oiler players like straight-legged to the side, just waiting to see what happens from that point. I'd like to see a little bit more traffic going towards the net while the guy is shooting. Maybe that makes them shoot a little bit more because they see guys are just going to the net looking for those second chance opportunities as well.
Yeah. There were a few comments I saw going into the third period via X, and it was in regard to the Oilers' goaltending. So we see Calvin Pickard, who remains perfect lifetime against the New Jersey Devils. That's 4-0 Gager for him. He came in with like a .98 GAA against New Jersey in 4 appearances. Prior to this one, obviously that goes up a tiny bit after giving up 3. But what did you see from Pickard? Because some people were saying goaltending still a concern. I'm not saying it's not a concern. I'm not saying it doesn't need to get better as a whole. It absolutely does. I'm not giving up on Stuart Skinner. I'm not saying he's the savior. I'm saying he needs growth and time. And yes, it'd be nice to have an upgrade over Calvin Pickard and Jack Campbell. But these are the guys that they've got right now. What did you get from Calvin Pickard tonight? Maybe it wasn't all roses, Gager, but you're the guy that played in the NHL as a goaltender. What'd you see?
Tommy, it was good goaltending. Was it great? No, I think he could have played on some of those goals slightly a little bit different. But saying that, when your backup gets in there, you have a chance to win. You know, he somewhat like the Oilers tonight. He there was a little bit of a bend, but he didn't break. He made some. The New Jersey Devils pushed. So they pushed in the second period. There was some good saves, and I love Pickard seems really in control of his rebounds, or his tracking after the shot is really quite good. No, I didn't have a problem with his game. I think I don't know what more you're expecting from essentially your number 2 goalie going into a place like New Jersey, a high octane team supposedly they do have the capability of scoring a lot of goals. No, it was great, and look what he was able to keep it within a goal going into the third period, and we saw what happened. The Oilers found another gear and could take care of it. The biggest thing tonight, Tommy, is the Oilers finally got some goalies that weren't at their best tonight. You know, it hasn't happened in a while, and it does happen throughout the year, and I was kind of wondering, is that ever going to happen? I mean, at least there wasn't any Russian goalies in New Jersey tonight. But it finally, sometimes you get those breaks and we've seen other teams against the Oilers have benefited with some subpar goaltending at times, and I think the Oilers really took advantage of it tonight.
The one thing I will say about the goaltending tonight, like from an Oilers standpoint, like that Dawson Mercer goal, Gager, I thought that I think it was Darnell Nurse backed in, and then we talked about it on the pregame show with Cass, like the Oilers players sweeping, and I think Leon Draisaitl just like tried to lean into the middle, and basically they let Mercer walk in, and he roofed it. He had all the time in the world. He made a great shot. The Siegenthaler one. What can you do? It's a point shot. There's like a screen, and you got the crossing players. What can you do, Gager? What do you think?
It's so tough because you get the flyby screen way up top, right? Mm-hmm. And that's hard. Then you're battling with 3 guys down low. I liked the body language actually with Pickard afterwards. He was mad, but he wasn't throwing his hands up like he couldn't see. Like he was like, he was more like, damn it, I should have done so. Like I could just by the way he looked, it seemed to me he was thinking I should have done something a little bit different there. I mean, gosh, that's a tough, because it's a perfect shot from distance. I call it the silencer too, Tommy, a little bit, because you don't hear the shot, like if there's the big clap, right? Yeah. So then you kind of can get ready. at this rate, like a little sweeper wrister, you don't hear actually the shot taking place, and then oh my gosh, he shot the puck. It catches you off a little bit, especially through screens. So yeah, but that first one, that's a missile off the post and in.
Yeah.
I had a great shot. Like not many goalies are stopping that one.
Third one, if we're gonna nitpick, the third one seemed like it bounced off of him right into the crease, and then Timo Meier is a beast.
Yeah, that's the one where I'm like, I talk about Pickard, the way he can track the puck after a shot and locate it really well. I thought that's one you'd like to see him smother up at least and get a whistle. But other than that, there was some really good saves. He looks, for a guy that I mean, he's played a few, but for a guy that's come up and in a backup role, he looks quite calm in there. There's not a lot of extra movement, which I think is nice. It allows, I think, your defenseman to have a little bit more confidence in you, and this guy's relaxed. He's got this, and it lets you play your game, not thinking that you have to do too much or getting block 80 shots because you're worried about shots actually getting to him.
Right. That's a good way to put it. If they feel comfortable with him, that's very important. The Oilers did have 15 block shots tonight. New Jersey had 18, but like Gager said, just a solid night from Calvin Pickard. Yes, the third one maybe not ideal, but the Oilers gave him the run support, and they held on to that lead in the third period. 6-3 is your final in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. It is the Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage with you, as well as YouTube Trev. We highly encourage you to get in on the conversation. Trev is waving to everybody. 780-218-9999 is our inbox. And then if you are watching us on the EST YouTube channel, get in to the nasty chat. Tube Socks, good to hear from Tube Socks, says, nice to see the local team pull off a win tonight. I don't think it was ever in doubt. And then like blank face emoji, so he's being a little bit sarcastic there. But they got the job done. Naughty Possum says, do you think the nasty chat will be friendly tonight? Always too negative when they lose. Well, they've got, I suppose they can find things to complain about, but overall, it's a good night, and the losing streak comes to an end, and it was a really good third period for the Oilers with that nice burst. 3 goals in a minute 9, and Pickard managed to hold the fort the rest of the way. The Oilers did chase Akira Schmid, the New Jersey Devils starter. What did you think of that, Gager, getting him out of there just 2 goals into the game? I know it was pretty early, but Schmid is a young goalie. He's 23 years old. He hasn't had a particularly great season. He was 5-7 going into this game. To pull him that quickly, what did you make of that move by Lindy Ruff?
Yeah, I think that was just, he saw something with his team not being ready at the drop of the puck. And you could see it. The Oilers were buzzing that first period, and they were chasing big time. You saw them get it back in the latter part of the first period, but I don't think that was more on Schmid a little bit. It was the fact that the whole team kind of get them going and wake them up, and it worked.
It worked,
They came back and got the lead. So it was a great move by Lindy Ruff there to get sometimes that is necessary to get your team back into it and kind of shake things up. And even it's kind of like a timeout as well without using a timeout too. There's the goaltending change, gives you a chance to settle things down. You're probably you didn't see it tonight, and I don't know if Lindy Ruff's one of those coaches that does that, but a lot of times you see the coach go over to the guy and say, hey, we're just trying, we got to do something. Where you're in next game or whatever. There's usually a little conversation there if a coach is leaning towards trying to shake things up. So, but I don't see that as, again, it was okay goaltending by the New Jersey Devils that you can't have against the Oilers. You have to have really good goaltending because they shoot the puck and create great chances. Yep. And that's kind of one of the reasons why they got off on this 3-game losing streak was the play of the goalies that they were going up against.
Schmid, 2 goals allowed on 6 shots, so 4 saves in 5:24 of work. And then Vitek Vanacek came in. He faced 32 shots, making 28 saves. And the Oilers did manage to get to him in the third period. Let's dip into the nasty chat a little bit here, see what's going on there. Yeah, pretty content from the comments I've been seeing. Pat says, no penalties tonight for the Oilers. They've got to keep that up tomorrow before going into the Christmas break. John says, Pickard gave us exactly what we need, a backup to give us a chance. James says, I thought Pickard went down early on the second goal. And Gager, that's where you kind of said, like, that was the Siegenthaler seeing eye.
Yeah.
What did you call it? The
So that's that.
Silencer?
Yeah, it's the silencer, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he goes down early because he's just, at that point, it's almost a hope play, Tommy, that you're going down and trying to cover as much as you can, right? In a normal, if it was just mono from that place, he just gloves that with his glove.
Yeah.
You know, if he sees it, that's
not
a
floater.
That's a very stoppable puck.
Yes.
But when you don't see it, catches you off guard, your immediate reaction as a goalie is to go down, try to at least take away the bottom part of the net, and give yourself a chance on a rebound. But no, it's he he provided solid backup goaltending. That's what he's supposed to. I see a lot of people in the nasty chat bringing up Jack Campbell, and obviously a little bit everyone's upset with the contract and how their supposed number one is in the minors, but. Gosh, I mean, I got tonight's game wrong. I'll admit it. I didn't. I thought this was going to be a little bit more difficult for the Oilers to pull off a win. I had the New Jersey Devils winning this, especially how the game here went. But look, Jack Campbell, I thought for him to be back in an Oilers uniform, he would have to essentially become an all-star in the American League. And by all accounts,
that's not happening.
That's not happening. And Olivier Rodrigue seems to be playing better and giving the Bakersfield Condors a better chance to win, to the point where now I'm hearing they're thinking of starting to play him more. I mean, I've had bad seasons before, Tommy, but like not two back-to-back that really like a progression that's going further down and down. The Oilers aren't in a position to get Jack Campbell back up and try to get his game back. It has to be Skinner or Pickard, or they're probably looking at another solution. But gosh, we were talking today about how there isn't a Oilers draft pick at the World Juniors on any team. So the cupboards are bare. This is alarming a little bit. Because if you're going out and trying to get someone else, you're expending even more assets at that point, which the Oilers don't seem to have a lot of in the pipeline. So, yeah, it's the futures. There needs to be some work. The Oilers have to win now. They really, really have to win now.
I want to ask you, just since we're on the topic of goaltending, and not necessarily the guys up here, because we kind of talked about that already, but with Rodrigue and him, it seems like he's emerging a little bit here, and good for him. He got the win last night for Bakersfield. Campbell continuing to have, looks like, some struggles, and that's too bad because he is a super nice guy. He played well. It was not a great goalie market when the Oilers signed him, but he was one of the guys that was available, and they did have – that was the price point. That was the ask, and the Oilers delivered. For a guy like Rodrigue, like, I don't think we don't really know what kind of goalie he is. I think in general, we don't really know what kind of goalie he is. It feels like with him putting some nice numbers up on a Condors team that's all right. It's an all right AHL team. They have some good veterans. They do have some skilled guys that are supposed to be on their way up to the National Hockey League at some point. But like you said, you talk about the draft picks and the Oilers not having any representation at the World Juniors. That's something, but it's different than what I'm getting at. With a guy like Rodrigue, who, is in the system, has been for a while. They've drafted, they've developed him, they've watched him progress, and now he's having success. Like, could he be a guy that emerges out of nowhere? And can you think of any examples of guys that have done that in the past, or that you played with or against, that weren't necessarily like a second, third, or fourth round goalie pick that people were counting on, and he just kind of comes up out of nowhere?
Yeah, me.
No,
No.
I knew we'd
Yeah,
get to
no,
that. Yeah.
yeah, no,
Anyway,
it's
just saying.
no, he look, he's making a case for himself, Tommy, to be into the he's making them ask questions. Oh, is this looking at his numbers? I mean, they're fantastic numbers
Yeah.
in the American League. You know, like although hearing future EST hangout guest Bob Stauffer,
Mhm.
and I haven't watched Rodrigo a lot, but
Right.
he said he has struggled in camp, right? So, but there's guys that are like that. They just he's trying to impress. He's a young guy coming to camp, trying to probably do too much, gets down to the minors, kind of, then he'll get to relax, kind of get into a groove again. But he's young.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time for him to. I think what they did with Stuart Skinner, although I did disagree with the one time when he got the shutout in San Jose and got sent down. I thought he should have stayed up. They let him kind of mature
Yes.
in the minors, and we do see the effect of that, of how he handles himself with bad games, taking accountability, being a good team player. I know people are upset with Stuart Skinner, but it's like Murray made a great point today on the Hangout, saying how, gosh, if you actually just take a couple steps back and look at it, for what we thought he would be at the beginning of last year till now, we would be incredibly happy. He's the number one goalie. Hasn't had one of those games we saw that Vasilevsky played the other night, like really
Yeah.
where
That was something
you'd
else.
like you need, and I really believe that a goalie is only capable of doing that maybe 3-4 times in a whole season, where your team is just complete hot garbage, and somehow your goalie just bails you out and you end up winning that game somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we need to see. I think that will cool the jets of a lot of people that are upset with the Oilers goalie situation at the moment, and I want to see it too. And I'm sure those types of games can really solidify your confidence too. And I'd like to see that for Pickard or Skinner at this point.
To wrap this thing up about the goaltenders, if you're wondering how Rodrigue has performed in his numbers so far this year down in Bakersfield, he's played 7 games. He has a .214 goals against average, a .938 save percentage, and a 3-2-1 record. Jack Campbell, who they're really, obviously, when you look at the numbers and you hear the stats and how much he's played since he's been sent down, they're really trying to get back on track. He's played 10 times. He's got a .346 goals against average, an .888 save percentage. He has a 4-6 record in those 10 games that he has played. So let's go into the depths of the goaltending in the organization right now. And Rodrigue is showing some signs, which is great. Campbell, unfortunately, continues to have some struggles, and no rush. Honestly, no rush to get him up. Pickard has his second win of the year. He is perfect against New Jersey and provides just a steadiness. It's not pretty, I suppose, and it's not ideal, and it's not a 1-1A type situation, but certainly an improvement over Jack Campbell for the time being. And I think that's why they gave him a pretty healthy AHL contract as well. 780-218-9999 is the number to text us, or via the Nasty Chat. Let's get to some more comments. YouTube Trev will get to audio and player and coach clips when they are available after the Oilers beat the Devils 6-3 and end their losing streak at 6 games. This one I want to talk about because, you know what, even though Leon Draisaitl did score, the second line, Gager, with Fogle and Kane, didn't seem to be connecting or have chemistry and a ton of flow, which isn't great. Draisaitl scores a nice goal on a bad giveaway. That's great. But what's going on? What are you seeing from the second line right now where you're just like, why isn't that working?
It's tough because I think when I watch it, it looks to me Leon is trying to like he's a high-end skilled guy, and they're looking to do high-end skilled plays all the time, right? Granted, there hasn't been a lot of chemistry between him and Kane, which there was at a certain point. It seemed like those guys were feeding off each other. But when that happened, and I do feel that tonight was a little bit different. I thought Kane played a little bit more physical and looked a little bit more like himself. But I think those guys have to just really break it down to brass tacks and play a simple style of hockey. They're big. I think they can dominate more in that small zone play, right? Just and get in on defense, make them turn, forecheck with authority, and just simplify. It doesn't always have to be a backhand sauce over a stick, hitting a guy wide and going back door, right? Both these guys have the ability to shoot the puck from distance and score, like we've seen it, right? I'd like to see them create chaos with their shots more. Like I said before, when you watch them come in, and if they have a chance, the puck will be in the middle of the ice, Tommy, and you'll see two guys off to the flanks just with straight legs watching the guy shoot. There's no looking to see where making things happen away from the puck. They're just so puck focused on who has it and what he's going to do. I'd like to see more chaos with those big bodies, especially Kane, because when you do go to the net, you're taking a defenseman with you too, right? So that's creating chaos. Then it opens up other lanes for things to happen. But tonight, especially, again, I mean, I know they scored a lot, but I think there was so many missed opportunities because that's going to stop eventually, Tommy. Teams get better and better, and to get those opportunities is less and less. You can't be looking for something perfect every time. Sometimes you just got to fire it on net and hope for the best, let alone maybe there's a whistle, you get an offensive face-off, new guys out there, and go from there.
Couple of things. Kane was taken off that line, I think, in the third period. McLeod got the bump up, and Kane, it looks like he's healthier. He was missing time at practice over the last couple of weeks, and he's been practicing lately. It looks like he has a little bit more of a jump in his stride. Did take the shot from, was it Bouchard off of somewhere on one of his legs? That didn't look like it felt great or anything. And he also, and this is one where you're like, maybe a guy's fighting it. So he switched to that white pattern stick, the white lightning, whatever you want to call it. I talked to him about it briefly, and he's like, it's the same stick model that he's been using. It's just a different wrap. And then he painted it. They spray paint their sticks. So he spray painted it black halfway up, and he switched back to black tape. That's kind of an indicator, Gager, where you know a guy is looking for something to get it back, to get that solid play, the consistent feel back, right? Like that, you try those little tricks.
Yeah, it's one thing to do. You know, guys will try maybe they switch gloves and it's not working, or they go pointless in a few games. They yell at the trainer to go get those old gloves that I used to have that I scored 8 goals in 5 games with. So yeah, guys will say they're not superstitious or things, but when things start going wrong, that's when the superstitions start creeping back into your game. And I mean, it's a thing in your mind.
Yeah.
I don't think because Evander Kane decided to switch to the white lightning that is the reason for his offensive output as of late.
No,
I think it's just it's tough because I mean, I love that they went back to the big line because they are on fuego right now with the way they can dominate teams. Like it's essentially do your best to try to stop them. But yeah, the Oilers need to find a little bit of lightning in the bottle with whatever combination they can find within those next 6 guys to hopefully solidify a little bit more offensive output. And hopefully, when have you seen, Tommy? And I mean, even with McDavid, I love it. I think it should always be like this. But when they score goals now, they don't look like someone just ran over their dog. You know, there's
That was the
They're
thing.
fired up.
Yep.
Finally. And I think that helps. Like if McDavid scores there, he goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That gets Leon juice. Leon gets out there and fires it up with a pumpernickel. McLeod's all fired up, and you got the big Ern coming down like a freight train and scoring one of the nicest goals of the year.
It's infectious. It's infectious when these guys score and they feel good about it. The jump on the bench, they get riled up, and good vibes. And we saw it tonight. Let's go to Eden via the inbox. Eden says, Gutty comeback in the third. Really worried about Gagne and Derek Ryan, though. Gagne took that high stick from Vinny Desharnais. Hopefully it's just something that they can patch up. Hopefully he didn't lose any teeth. I think Sam wears a mouth guard still. Another text says, thank you, Paul Coffey. This is all Paul Coffey, right, Gager?
Oh, yeah. That backhand pass from Gagne to on the first goal to McLeod. Mm-hmm. That was great. Unreal. I think that was Koff. He was talking to Gagne
totally
about that one.
Timberwoodsman texts in, says, so Conor Brown's getting waived, right? I don't think he's getting waived. I don't think you can't put him in tomorrow. Can you, Gager, after Ernie scores?
You better
that
not.
Goal? Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Man. You're not. No, I think it'll have a couple effects. I mean, it's tough for Brown, a veteran coming into a situation, having 1 point, for him to be thrown in the press box where this guy was trying to get things going. We're going to see how strong his resolve is in this situation. If he does get back in, maybe he is back in. The only way I'd see him come back in is if there was an injury, right? If Gagne or can't go, but no, you don't mess with a winning streak. And especially I love the physical play that Ernie provided. Even the little bits after the whistle, he would get his nose in there, just calm everything down if someone was a little bit feisty. I know that it's not really in the Devil's nature, but having a guy like that in the lineup to Evander Kane can't do it all, right? I even think they need one more of those guys that talk on the bench and let guys know that their hairstyles are out of date or whatever, right? Like you need those types of guys that to provide a little bit more sandpaper, get under the other team's skin and start making them think more about you and less about the game, right? So yeah, great game, great to see him score. That's it was funny seeing the X or Twitter the Big Ern score. That was I don't think many people expected that from him.
No, they did not. I can honestly say that without question. They did not expect Adam Ernie to score a goal, especially the way he did tonight. But capped off a really solid minute and 9 seconds where the Oilers managed to score 3 goals. That was the second fastest 3 goals this season. Detroit did it in a little bit less time. I saw that stat on X. And so the Oilers with some lightning quick goal scoring ability, and Ernie had not played in 8 straight. Yep. What's up, Gager?
I wanted to ask you this,
please,
because a lot of people was talking about having Brown in the press box would kind of light the fire on a few other individuals that maybe are not having the seasons that they thought they would be having up to this point. Like it seemed to have worked a little bit with I'm looking at Ryan McLeod having a pretty good game where he was around it. There was a lot less flybys this evening.
Yeah.
I think possibly, gosh, I don't pick my game up. I could be the one coming out for Brown. So
right.
Very something you can do more with a full roster. I think that the Oilers are just not able to do with the cap situation. But this could have been not just a Brown, go have a look from up top, but it could also be a shot across the bow to other guys saying, look, we can't have guys coming in here and not producing. If you're not producing, you're going to be watching. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that at all.
Sometimes that I don't know if fear is the perfect way to describe it, but having someone there ready to play, and you know that if you're not on top of your game, you might be taken out for that guy. I think sometimes that's a good stress and a good nervousness. You know, it gives you that edge, Gager. Like last year, I talked about, I think Cass and I have hit on it a couple of times at points this season where you were watching Klim Kostin get healthy scratched. You were watching Warren Fogle get healthy scratched. Jesse Puljujarvi was healthy scratched. These are NHL players. You know, Puljujarvi is what he is, but these are guys that are capable of giving you big boy minutes in games, not consistently sometimes, but if you're not playing, you know that the coach has options, and they didn't really have that tool in their toolbox this year. Neither coach, Woodcroft or Chris Knoblauch. And I guess, you know, the one guy that they have sitting and waiting gave you something today. So, yeah, maybe it does send a little bit of a shock wave, if you will, and gets guys to pick it up a little bit and say, hey, if they can take Conor Brown out, who's supposed to be a veteran guy that's getting paid really well, and he's not doing diddly squat, maybe I need to pick it up too, because Conor Brown might take my spot if I don't play well. So I don't mind that. Into the inbox we go. We do have some audio and video coming up right away. I see Connor McDavid will be coming down here shortly. YouTube Trev working on that right now. G-Dog the Hog says, Gager is awesome. Gives such good explanations on plays. Thank you, G-Dog the Hog.
Being facetious?
No, I think he's very sincere.
Oh,
seriously.
Okay. All right.
And then he also adds, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. I think they need to sign Brown to a 3-year, $2 million contract to recoup the money and make this contract swallowable. He's a fourth liner and good on the penalty kill. Otherwise, they may have really lost that signing. G-Dog the Hog, they've lost that signing as of right now. Unless he does something miraculous in the second half of the season or has a great playoff, it's a bad signing. And I'm happy to admit that. My hope for him is that he becomes this new edition of Michael Pekka, you know, or Michael Pekka didn't.
I would go with I hope he drinks the Fernando Pisani juice come playoff time. That's what you need.
Yeah,
that would erase. That would be the meeting with Lloyd Christmas or whatever, and totally redeem himself.
Fernando had a good regular season that year, though, right? Like it was a pretty solid fourth line season, wasn't it?
It was okay. Nothing like what he did in playoffs, though. The guy was just unconscious with his scoring touch. But, I mean, if you played with Fernando, you'd see it. Like his shot was. I've told the story of when I first played with him in the minors, and he came out. He was injured. He broke his wrist or something like that. And he came over the tops of circles and he let one go, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why you're here. You can really fire the pill. But yeah, that's what you need. You just need to find that. And you know what? We talked about this before, Tommy. Like the second season, like this is, how did Woodcroft put it? The audition for Game 83. I always loved that saying. Everything starts at zero there.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's a nice little reset. Also, getting banished to the press box watching a game is also kind of a reset as well. I don't think you put Brown in next game. I don't think you'll see it with Ernie scoring like that and providing a little bit different of a look. I do hesitate a little bit with the PK and seeing what Brown was capable of doing. Although his last few outings, there were some subtle mistakes that he was making with sticks position and stuff. So, but I think that is a product of the game that he's supposed to have coming into the game that he already is doing well at, right? So just things tend to snowball when things are going bad for you. So maybe that's what they saw too, and said, look, you need to take a breath here, and you know, Tommy, when you're sitting up in the press box, it's a completely different game. When you watch it from up there. You see plays develop. Sometimes it's miraculous that Connor McDavid actually sees a play that you don't see from up there. But it just kind of slows the game and lets you know, okay, I might have a little bit more time there. I might be able to do something. Oh, I should be doing that a little bit better. So.
By the way, Fernando in 05-06 regular season, 18 goals, 19 assists.
Okay.
He had a good year. Okay. Really solid.
He did have a good year.
And then 14-4 in the playoffs. Absolutely lights out for the Paisan from the north side. I got your back, Fernando, if you're watching or listening. Gager, who was your teammate, clearly does not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. 780-218-9999 if you want to get in on the conversation. We're going to get to more text. We do have audio. Trev says 2 more minutes. Okay, let's get to some text here. Brandon from Windsor says, I've been wishing you boys Merry Christmas for the past 2 days and not even a thumbs up. Not going to lie, boys. I'm not feeling the love. Brandon from Windsor, a thumbs up. And the love coming back at you. Appreciate it very much, my friend. And thanks for tuning in all the way from Windsor. Gage, are you going to give Brandon from Windsor a thumbs up?
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Sorry, man.
There we go. We got you.
I'll give you 2. How about that?
Beautiful.
Boom, boom.
Did you see this UC Saros goal against today?
No, I didn't.
Neither did I.
Sorry.
Bison Mask guy asking about that. Says, have you been scored on a wilder goal than what happened to Saros?
No, I've been scored on every way possible. It's
okay, let's go to the Liquid Beaver. Says, good evening, gentlemen. Thought Draisaitl looked like a totally different player for the better when he was with McLeod. Thoughts, Liquid Beaver? I'm not going to say it the other way that he prefers.
yeah.
I see you.
I think Draisaitl prefers to play with. I'm not saying. Because McLeod can transport the puck a little bit too, and there's a lot of speed. I'm not saying that when Fogel's got some speed, and Kane's not slow.
No, he's not slow.
I just maybe having a guy that can back off defensemen a little bit more like McLeod. I like the way he when he does get like wound up and comes through the neutral zone and gains the offensive blue line. Maybe you saw Leon go, oh, okay, there's something more I can do here or get into positions. Yeah, look, I felt that Leon Draisaitl has really struggled over the last little bit, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen him kind of go back and start off with on the defensive side. We see some of the back checks that he's been doing lately just to be part of something. I mean, for a skilled guy not to be putting points on the board, it's hard for those guys, right? They wanna get the, and it's a team thing, but they want to be a big part of wins, and I think that's why you're seeing that those emotions come out when you do see him score. What a phenomenal backhand goal! Beautiful. Like that's there's not many guys on the planet that can strip the puck, get it on your backhand with guys coming towards you and roofing it far side on your backhand. That's a very skilled play. This
one from Dirty Curdy. Dirty Curdy coming in late. Usually he's one of the first to text in post-game. Oilers win at 6-3. Dirty Curdy says, Clowder got the message clear. Didn't want to end up in Browntown with Ernie outscoring Brown. He better get comfortable eating popcorn in the rafters. We are surviving with a 2A, 2B goaltending. In parentheses, love Skinner, but the stats in his first 20 are clear. Management needs to make a splash. We are a poor man's Leafs West, says Dirty Curdy. Dirty Curdy with the harsh assessment. Wow. I'm a little bit surprised, like the ripping on Skinner to this extent. Dirty Curdy.
It's tough. Poor Stewie. He's got a big mustache and thick and broad shoulders, so he just like I said before, Tommy, he just has to get hot. That's my dog. Sorry,
yeah, there he is.
He just needs to be hot for 2 months. Yeah, that's it. Can you get out?
There you go. There's some love from Cager's dog, Brandon from Windsor. You can have some of that love too. YouTube Trevor, are we ready?
We are ready.
All right, here we go. You take care of your dog, Gager. We're going to hear from some of the Oilers after the 6-3 win in New Jersey. Who's up first, Trev?
Let's go to the goal scorer tonight. Got on the score sheet. Adam Ernie.
I'm going to draw in to the lineup for a few weeks now, and you get your chance and you deliver in a big way. Just take us through the feeling right now.
Yeah, it's great. Dad's in the stands, best buddies in the stands, so it was a good time to get my first one for sure. It just feels great.
If You had one of your best friends and your dad in the stands. Did you have any pregame conversations with them that kind of got you amped up a little bit?
Not too much. I know it goes unsaid. We only come out here once this year. Usually I get to be around here a lot more, playing in the East in the past. So it's definitely special to be able to perform in front of them.
Your first game since November 28th. Take us through that process. What did that process look like for you as you kind of awaited your opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it was just trying to stay part of the group, put in the work in practice, after practice, and on game days when you're not playing, it's tough, but you put in the extra work, and it's a process, but it makes scoring, coming back and scoring, that much better.
What did you think of your team's effort overall? Obviously a big start, maybe a little bit of a lull in that second, but responding in a big way out of the third.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we talked, and I think we liked our second. It just, the puck wasn't going in for us. A couple unlucky maybe bounces here in the second period. They made some plays. It's a fast, skilled team over there, and they're going to capitalize. So I think overall we liked our game, especially the response in the third period, sticking with it, and just sticking with the same game plan, not trying to change too much, and worked out.
What did you think of the rapid-fire 3 goals, 69 seconds with you finishing it off? I mean, on the bench, what was kind of the feel and the vibe of what you were able to accomplish?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's part of us just sticking with the process. I think we're lucky enough to have the firepower on this team to be able to do that. So I do think it's important that we just stick to our game. And I know that's pretty generic, and a lot of teams say that, but for a team that can just pop goals in like that, sometimes it will with the players that we have in our lineup. It is true. Just stick with the game, and eventually it will work out.
3 goals in 69 seconds. How were you guys able to exploit the Devils' defense? Like, what holes did you see in their overall execution?
Well, I think an emphasis for us was getting the puck a little high and getting it to the net right away, not letting them set up, and having guys at the net. And I thought Hyman did a great job all night, and Eki did a great job all night at getting him to the net. So, kind of like I said before, it's just kind of sticking with what we were doing, and finally it worked out for us. There's
Adam Ernie, the goal scorer, capping off a wild span for the Oilers in the third period. Third goal of 3 in a 69-second span. The Oilers win it 6-3 over the New Jersey Devils. Gage, your dad and best buddy in the stands. What does that do for a guy?
Oh, it's magical when you can get some family to games. I mean, as long as it's not too big, you don't want to be paying too much money. Those bills can get that visa gets a little hot sometimes.
This time of year in this economy,
yeah.
Right.
So I loved when I'd get back to Vancouver. I was actually able to get the one game some child like. They were friends of my mom and dad that I got tickets for, and they all came, and ended up I was first star of the game.
Nice.
The biggest thing was after the game coming out. I would say there was probably 20 people like that I grew up with that I didn't know that were at the game, but growing up in Vancouver, they were all at the game and were waiting for me after. So yeah, it's awesome when you can go back home and get your loved ones and friends and family to come watch you, but especially when you score a goal like that.
Right.
There's dad and buddy are probably going nuts, high fives in the stands at that point, right? So yeah, those are great moments that you always cherish.
I love it, Gager. I can only imagine you just coming out there, shoulders and chest puffed up. GM back then GM place, yeah.
I didn't know they were there. That's the thing. Like I came out and it was a little roar from all these people. I was completely shocked that they were all at the game. There were people that I hadn't seen in like 5-6 years,
nice.
Right? So 10 years. So that was really cool. That was completely unexpected. I usually travel with a huge entourage,
as one does.
So
yeah.
But at that point in my career, I didn't.
Well, they were there for you, and you came up big in that game. All right, let's go to our next player. Post-game from New Jersey. Who do we have, YouTube, Trev?
Yeah, let's go to the captain next. Here is Conor McDavid after the 6-3 win.
It's not only bouncing back from that loss against the Islanders, but also tonight showing up big in the third period.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked a lot of aspects of our game. I feel like we've had lots of chances. We've just been finding ways to lose games. I thought we did that on the island. We did that against Tampa. The Florida game's kind of a write-off. So, I thought we responded well tonight. Obviously in a tough spot, down one, heading into the third period. But I thought there was great resilience, like you said, and the boys stuck with it.
That messaging that you just shared is uniform throughout this locker room. You guys are creating chances, but not necessarily getting the finish from time to time. As a leader on this hockey club, how do you make sure that that standard is upheld?
Well, I think, offensively, guys just got to stay with it. Confidence is key offensively. I think defensively we've been doing a lot of really good things. Minus obviously the Florida game, but I think defensively we've been really good. Our goaltending has been there when we needed it, and I think tonight was a good show of resilience. You need one of those to kind of snap a losing streak like that.
We just talked to Adam Ernie, of course, draws into the lineup for the first time in a month. Big goal. As his teammate, what goes through your mind when you see him score like that?
Yeah, really big goal. Obviously happy for him. It's never a fun situation to be sitting out of the lineup, and he'd been doing it for a long time, and done it with a smile on his face and just being a great teammate. And that's all you can ask for. And obviously steps in and scores a big goal at a big time, and that's what you ask of your teammates and ask out of everybody.
What changed in the third period?
You know what? I don't think much. I feel like we had lots of loose pucks around the net, lots of little plays that could have gone, and all of a sudden in the third period they just started going in. It's a funny game that way. So you stay with it long enough, you get rewarded, and I thought we did that tonight.
Was anything said at the second intermission?
You know what? No, I think as cliche as it is, it was kind of just stick with it. We liked a lot of it. We liked a lot of parts of our game. We felt like we should have been down, but we were. Kind of felt a little bit like the Winnipeg game, if you can remember that a while ago, where we kind of carried the play, and we're down one and just kind of hung in there and found a way to win.
What do you think of that Leon Draisaitl backhand shell?
Not many guys in the world can do that. Guys were saying that on the bench. How does he do that? But never ceases to amaze.
One of the Devils' highly touted players is obviously Jack Hughes, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on his overall play and some of the comparisons that he's had to Wayne Gretzky, having won the Hart Trophy, and also having the career you have. I'm curious to hear your assessment on him.
Obviously a really good young player. All those Hughes boys are amazing. And obviously he's a young kid in this league, and carries himself really well out there on the ice, skates well, wants the puck, making plays. I mean, that's all you can ask for from your young guys, and he's just going to keep getting better and better.
No doubt you have a high-powered offense, but what can you do to improve the defense?
What can we do to improve the defense? Well, we just played a really highly talented team in the Devils here tonight, and I thought we did a good job of limiting their chances. They're super potent, and when they get a chance, it's usually in the net, and they obviously showed that tonight. So I thought we did a lot of good things limiting their chances, and hopefully something we can build off of.
3 goals in 69 seconds. What did you guys see there, and what were you exploring on the Devils' defensive side of things?
Well, we just wanted to get pucks there. We felt there was a lot of pucks laying around the net, and we needed sometimes you just need a bounce, and we got one there early, and obviously Leo makes a special play there. Not a lot of guys can make, and Bigger and chips in with another big one. A couple seconds later. So it's a big stretch of the game. That turned it in our favor for sure.
Conor McDavid, a goal and an assist, +2, and 50% on the dot. 2 hits, 2 shots, and 20 minutes and 2 seconds time on ice for the captain. And he was asked about the defensive side of the game. Gage, New Jersey does have a lot of high-powered offensive ability, and they've burned a lot of teams, including the Oilers last year. And the Oilers did manage to contain them to just 3. So was it the best defensive game? No, not really. Could it have been better? I think so, right? But overall,
I think so, yeah. But overall, they kept a very, like Connor said there, Tommy, they kept a very high-powered team from getting things really going, right? Mm-hmm. Like they came back there, but yeah, I like it was a very good road game. I think that's what you want, right? You want a chance. if you would have told the Oilers, you know, I always say these, but if you would have told the Oilers they'd be down 3-2 going into the third, you know what? They might take that at the beginning of the game, right? And go from there. I think they would be happy with something like that. And you saw that what they were able to do. They liked their game. They thought they were getting some good chances in certain areas, and finally got to cash in. I mean, Connor's goal. I mean, he pumps Draisaitl's tires there, but most guys are just whacking it right back into the goalie's pads at that point, right? Not many players are holding it, having a look. Oh, he's out. Oh, that D-man's there. Oh, I'll hold it another little second. Okay, there's no empty little spot over there and score. That was amazing too. Like, yeah, he's it's so funny how he talks about that. But that was, and that, though, you saw how happy he was after. Like I mentioned, everyone on the bench is talking, oh my God, Conor just outweighted the whole team there to score that goal. And then you got the burger flipper going roof daddy. I wish we could just play that goal call whenever they score the roof daddy if it goes shelf. That's great. But yeah, 2 great goals by the Oilers' top players, and that's what you need. And there's certain times in the game, and I told this story on the Hangout a long time ago, where the game's here, and then all of a sudden the superstars just take it to another stratosphere, and you just can't keep up at that level. And it was for a minute and a half, and they just blew the doors off the Devils.
Connor Texan says, guys, I was happy with the game. That top line literally looks like a power play. D and goalie were good enough, sometimes deflating when they kill, and then for 10 minutes straight, they give up one coming back. It was a good game. Stu and Pickard are fine, not elite, not going to make those games and stealing saves, but on a night like tonight, fine, says Connor.
I disagree. You don't get to the NHL by not stealing games. They've done this before. We haven't seen it yet, and not as enough on a consistent basis. But Pickard and Skinner they're really, really good goalies. Just need to maybe get out of third gear. Let's get it into fourth here a little bit.
I like that little racing analogy for you. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room in Newark. Let's hear from head coach Chris Knoblauch.
Team's ability to bounce back after a little bit of a lull second period.
The second period obviously wasn't what we wanted. They, came out and scored early in the period, but I thought we did a lot of good things in the second period. We didn't score the goals, but I thought we deserved a better fate. Obviously, the third period was much better. I don't know if we had as much offense was on time. Obviously, the goals came, but I was just happy with our guys, and it was very similar to the Winnipeg game where I thought we could have been up. We weren't. We stuck with the game plan, and it paid off in the third period. So, good for them to stick with it.
Talking to Adam Ernie earlier this week, I asked him about, waiting for him to get the tap, and he said, I just got to focus on my own process, and when that opportunity comes, I'll capitalize. As his head coach, you see him score a big goal like that. What goes through your mind?
Oh, we're so happy for him on the bench, and it was unfortunate. It was almost a month without his since his last game, and a couple things happened. We went on a winning streak. We won 8 games in a row, and he was part of not being in the lineup. And then he also got sick, which held him back from getting back in the lineup maybe a little bit earlier than he did tonight. But he was ready, and good for him. I thought he played a really good game. Obviously, it was nice to see him score the goal, but I thought he broke up a lot of plays defensively, made some plays on the defenses or in the breaking the puck out on the wall. Adam played a really good game. That's what we expect from him, and he delivered. What did you think of the 3 goals in 69 seconds? I mean, it just turned the game upside down in your favor. What's kind of going on the bench and through your mind? Yeah, no, obviously there's a lot of excitement. They worked so hard last 3-4 games, not being able to score even strength goals. And a lot of it, goes back to that Tampa Bay game. I think there was only one even strength goal in that game. And then the Florida Islanders, we struggled getting goals, and I think we did a lot of good things. We could have did some things better. Tonight they just they worked out in our favor, and I think a lot of guys just could relax, and that always happens with guys after they score goals. It's easier to play hockey after they've got a couple tallies under their belt.
What do you think of that Leon Draisaitl backhand to go shelf that in tight?
Yeah, no, it's impressive. And when that puck goes on his backhand, usually we're telling guys keep the puck off their backhand, but he's one of the guys that can make some incredible shots and passes on his backhand. So we'll let it go. He can put the puck on his backhand.
Yes, indeed. When you can roof it like that. I'm surprised to hear that, actually, Gager, because the backhand seems to have become a lost art, which is too bad.
Yeah. You see guys that it's usually the best players have these ridiculous backhands, and that can, Leon, sometimes it amazes me how he can be on his backhand and send a cross ice bullet and hit a guy like Conor we've seen it numerous times. Him hit a guy at stride. It's one of it is a lost art. As a goalie, it is very deceiving because the release point from the blade of the stick you're uncertain. Usually on a forehand, and most guys try it comes off their blade at the same point. On a backhand, you don't. It's very deceptive on how guys can disguise where, if it's coming off the toe, the middle of the blade, or even the heel at that point. And with Leon's, he can almost freeze you when it's on his backhand. It's almost like a lacrosse shot where it stays on it for so long, but then there's the quick release, right? So it's very, very, very deceiving.
Knoblauch picking up his 11th win as a National Hockey League head coach. 11-6 is his record as a bench boss with the Oilers. And I want to get to one more text, and it's a question I think is better suited for you, Joaquin, and then we'll take a quick look ahead. Then we can say goodbye to Gager, and then Trev will give the player of the game, and then we can wrap up the show. That's the game plan going forward here. Gager, Cal texted in, and I saw this in the nasty chat earlier, I think from someone else. I'm not sure if it was Cal, but it did pop up a couple of times, and I've seen it a little bit as a bit of a discussion since the semi-emergence of Olivier Rodrigue down in Bakersfield. Cal asks, would it hurt to try Rodrigue a few games? I don't think a few games would hurt to see what he brings, shelter him a bit. That's from Cal. Gager, you've gone through the process of working your way up. This Oilers team's not in a great position to give games to rookie goalies unless they desperately need him to play due to injury or something. But what would you say?
No, the Oilers aren't in a position to see what they have with a young guy. They need wins. They need to give themselves the best chance of winning. And to be quite frankly, Tommy, you don't want to put that type of pressure on a young guy coming up with a team, do or almost every game is a must win at this point. What I would try to think of is what happens if one of these guys gets a little bumped or bruised, and if Rodrigue is lighting the world on fire and has and is playing more than Jack Campbell up to, then I would think, you know what, maybe you bring him up at that point. Like I don't. And I talked about this today about the hierarchy of the minors, and sometimes the best players aren't the first ones to get called up. It's a meat grinder. It's hard. Yes. It's hard to deal with at times, especially if you're out playing your partner at that point, and he's the one that's probably, if someone gets injured, is going to get called. That's very frustrating, especially for a young guy to have to deal with that. If I could talk to my younger self, Tommy, I would have told, I would say, self, you gotta make the decision as hard as humanly possible for them not to have you be the one that they call up, right? That's, you just want to put that splinter in the back of their brain going, oh, maybe we should give this kid a chance. That's what he has to do, because by all accounts, if one of these guys gets a boo-boo and has to miss any amount of time, we're probably going to see Jack Campbell back up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I think, to Cal's point, it's an honest question. And given the way Rodriguez seems to be playing, I think the mind goes there. I was curious, too, at some point, do they ever look at this guy? And it was worth bringing that up. And, Gager, like I said, you've gone through it. You dealt with the hierarchy of the minor league system and working your way up from
in a different situation,
well, yeah,
Tommy,
yeah.
maybe. Like if the Oilers were, in that top tier of the Pacific Division and there was a lot of, a gap between everywhere else, maybe at that point you would look at it. But, yeah, you can't do that with the situation that they put themselves in.
Tomorrow it is the New York Rangers. This is unbelievably the first back-to-back set for the Oilers. Jack talked about it on the broadcast. They are the last team to play back-to-backs this year. They've had a very cushy schedule in terms of days between games. That is certainly true. The Rangers, best team in the Eastern Conference. They have a 22-7-1 record. They are 10-3 at MSG this season. Joaquin, what is the strategy for tomorrow for the Oilers?
They're going to need, everyone's going to have to be on the same page. There can't be, you hear in dressing rooms, we can't have any passengers tonight. Everyone's got to bring their A game. It will take a full 60 minutes to beat this Rangers team. They're rolling right now. Tons of weapons. I like the fact, I think what really bodes well for the Oilers going into this game is the discipline that they had in tonight's game, not taking any penalties. Because when we saw on the Charlie Huddy, Doug Waite night, what that team is able to do with some of the guys on that power play with Panarin and Kreider and Zibanejad.
Yeah.
It's just there's some nasty guys on the Rangers team. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see a Russian goalie tomorrow. So we'll see. Maybe they can flip the coin, so to speak, on these Russian goalies. Maybe I have to start talking Russian again, Tommy. So
work on.
If they
sure. And no libations in Manhattan tonight. Go straight to bed, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's tough.
Gager, that town is something else. All right, you don't have to go straight to bed. You did fantastic work subbing in for Matty Cassian, who's under the weather. Always a pleasure, sir. If I don't see you, maybe tomorrow. I don't know what Gager, what kind of status Cass will be in, but fantastic stuff and huge thank you. You did great work all day here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I have to applaud you, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. And if need be, I will make myself available for you, Tommy.
Excellent. Great teammate, Joaquin Gage, bringing it tonight on the Oil Stream postgame show. Huge thank you to Joaquin for stepping in for for Matty, who's not feeling well. Cass under the weather. He said, "Hey guys, I'm not feeling great, but Joaquin might be ready to go." Thankfully, he was. So great stuff there from Joaquin Gage. Thank you for all your questions. We do have a bit of business to get to, and that, of course, is the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game. Damon is a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. And on his Instagram right now, he has giveaways for the holiday season, and yesterday he did an announcement with Dusty Nielsen right here from our studios saying that they had tickets to give away to an upcoming Oilers game with some EST merch, and so check out his real estate page on Instagram for the giveaways leading up to Christmas. Let's bring in YouTube Trev. There he is. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. I'm still not there yet. I don't have the confidence to do it, Tommy. I don't know.
Do the Mario? You look like Mario. That's
I know.
A young Super Mario.
Thank you for that.
Player of the game, my friend. All yours.
Player of the game. First off, Zedmo, Matty 39, Connor F, Matty 39. Oh, well, look at that. Gavis, Con. You guys are absolutely crushing it tonight. I just have to say hello to all of you viewers, all you nasties. Thanks for sticking along with us. We really appreciate it. Lots to pick from tonight, honestly. Conor McDavid was stand out, as he is almost every night. Nuge, I thought he was pretty passive tonight. I feel he could have scored a few goals. But whatever, that'll come. So let's just get right to it. Ryan McLeod, haven't picked him yet so far this season. It was his second multi-goal game of his NHL career.
Yep.
You're not going to expect that. That's not going to be Ryan McLeod all season long. If he can score one every 5 games, that would just go such a long way with the Oilers, with their depth, for himself as well. It was nice to see him. He wasn't just skating around there tonight. He was contributing with the first goal, right place, right time. The second goal, he channeled his inner McDavid, if you will. He was pretty patient with that play. He outweighted the goalie, and he got a second goal of the game. So, yeah, had to be Ryan McLeod. You are for sure the Damon Bunting player of the game. Good job, buddy.
Well done. There you go. He wins the battle of the McLeod clan tonight. Ryan over Mikey, both players and brothers with multi-point performances in front of their parents and what I would assume is one of their girlfriends. Yeah, absolutely. Probably. But it is Ryan 2, Mikey 2, but the Oilers with the win and the 2 points. There you go. All right, a couple texts to wrap things up. This one from Coach Mike says, hey, guys, remember Quick got the start when the Rangers were in town. Yes, he did. He also picked up a shutout that night. And then Tibber Woodsman says, boys, they need to get the power play going. Too cute. Just need to work hard. Don't pass up chances. Timber Woodsman, I'm with you on that. Shoot it, man. These guys can fire that thing, and they might not think that they have a great shot. Like McDavid talks about how he doesn't think his shot is great. Newsflash, it's phenomenal. So I'm with you. Simplify, and these guys have the talent to get the power play going. Obviously, still 4th in the league, but it's on an 0-for-9 stretch, I believe, as of right now. So that's going to do it. The Oilers do pick up 2 points. They do snap the 3-game losing streak. They sweep the season series against the New Jersey Devils, and they move on to the New York Rangers tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. We will be on the air with the Oil Stream pregame show, 4 p.m. We'll take you right up to, or pretty close to puck drop. That will be the only show tomorrow on EST is the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. It's going to be a quiet stretch of a week. The boys did record a Christmas special that will be running on our YouTube channel as well as the audio side of things. We will have Hello Hockey on Saturday as well. We'll be live on location at local public eatery, Jasper Avenue, from 10 to noon. First road show of Season 2 for Hello Hockey, and Sean Bell and myself are excited to be there. YouTube Trev will be holding things down here at ESTHQ. That's going to do it for tonight's show. The Oilers get the win. I think Oil Country satisfied, gearing up, enjoy it. Be ready for tomorrow's game against the New York Rangers. We do it all over again. 4 p.m. we get going. 6 o'clocker logger, Alley Cat. Second batch went out today, a day earlier than anticipated. It is already moving fast. A huge thank you to people who have been drinking this and buying it. It's locked in at $14.99 for a 4-pack at Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores, and it's damn good beer. Easy, crushable beer. It's flying off the shelves, and it sounds like the third batch is already in the process of being made. We saw the first kegs being tapped with 6 o'clocker lager and a few locations, a few establishments around the city ready to bring it on. So this could not be accomplished without you, and a huge thank you. And if you want to get some, it's going quick. Redbeard on Twitter, Scott Laurie, is updating people. He is literally running flats to Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores in and around Edmonton and northern Alberta. The guy's been all over the place. He's been our knight in shining armor. So cheers to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening and watching and texting. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.